Heading out to the mine now. It's about half a mile out that way. So it's still a little bit of a walk, but we've come a long way, so we'll get there soon. We just dropped in along that decline, and it's a bit of a level area here, so pulling out the camera to show you what we're working with. The decline continues past me down that way, so I'm not going to be able to have the camera on when we're getting down that because we have both hands, but I want to give you an idea of what we're working with. See this fissure above us, which is kind of cool. See all the flowstone there? Anyway, I'm not sure how far down this goes before it starts to level out, but I'll pick up at some point along the way down there, especially if you see something interesting. Still working our way down. You can see the others there. There's a cool little cleft right there, and that runs into the chamber where they are. So I'll pick up when we get to the chamber. I just want to show you that little cleft. That's our rope right there. I've got that cleft behind me. Pretty cool gobbing right here in front of us. We've got stuff going off to the right, stuff going off to the left, that way. I was just shooting from there. We're following airflow, so we're going to the left. You can see some of the boards and such have tumbled down. The gobbing extends this way, and a little bottle stuck in the gobbing, although that looks a bit more modern. And then we're going this way. We've been coming from that direction, and it's impossible to walk upright here, so that's why I'm not leaving the camera on. A little pocket there, old shovel head, and we're continuing this way. Like I said, hopefully be able to stand upright soon so I can properly film for you. But it's just this stuff, you know, gobbing against the sides and carrying on. Actually, you know what? Looks like it gets a bit taller. I'll try keeping the camera on. Oh, nice. Little pocket. Some pick marks I've noticed on some of the sides in here. And then, okay, gonna have to put the camera away. You can see it declines pretty steeply. So I'll put the camera away and pick up down where Jeremy's going. Just slid down there, reached the bottom. It's a bit damp down here, so it's kind of slabby. I thought that was a candle holder at first when I saw it from a distance. Anyway, a little pocket here where stuff is slabbed out because it's wet. And then looking ahead, you can see we've got some pretty substantial slabs to make our way through. So I'm going to put the camera away again and pick up somewhere down there. We just made our way through about 100 feet of that, so that's why I'm breathing hard, because it was essentially bouldering the whole way. A lot of pick marks on all the rocks down here, which was interesting. And then you can see some strap rail running down there. I mean, it's buried under all these slabs, but the fact that it's here is interesting. There's some more in front of us there, and then we are continuing down, and hopefully things will be better going forward. Made my way a little farther down and wanted to show you what was ahead. This decline just keeps dropping and dropping and dropping, so I'm gonna put the camera away until we get to the bottom. It's just too hard to try and walk down this without falling, and also to shoot video. I mean, you guys, I think you got the idea of what's here, but yeah, it just keeps going. It goes as far as I can see now. Down, down, down. So I'm going to pick up when we actually get to the bottom. All right, we've reached a bottom of sorts, and you can see there's a hole here. We're getting ready to drop, getting the rope ready. And the reason being is that we've gone as far as we can. Looking ahead, this just ends right there. And then there were a couple sections that kept dropping at one time, but they were filled in with rock like this and inaccessible. So next option, like I said earlier in the video, is keep following the airflow. So that's what we're doing here. Looking overhead, we've got a stope chamber here of a, I would say, medium to small size. But looking overhead, it keeps going a ways. See the, I can't tell if there's rail up there or not, but it's definitely a lot of boards, and boards holding back a lot of rock. So hopefully that doesn't fall while we're doing this. As usual, Jeremy's going to be the one heading down to run recon for us. So we'll wait to hear what he finds. All right, Jeremy has reported back that there's a sublevel down there off of an ore chute. So we're essentially dropping down an ore pass / ore chute to get to the sublevel. And then down there, he said there was an incline and a decline, and the airflow is continuing. So we're getting an anchor set up, and we're gonna drop down there and see what we're working with. That's the ore chute we just popped out of. You can see the rope dribbling out of it. A little squeeze getting through there, but this is the sub-level. Just faces out right there, but just keeps going this way. And you see we've got some rail here. You know I like the rail. Fun fact that Jeremy noticed is that that ore chute that we just came down, they drilled up on that. So these workings seem a bit, might be at ore pass here even. These workings seem a bit newer than those above. It's like the newer workings ran up into the old workings that we came in through. And I'm standing up straight in these. It's got the rail. Probably too wet for any carbide graffiti. There's some hose right there. Looks like some calcite. It's hard to tell, everything's covered in this gray mud. Huh. I was just about to express a hope to see something like this, and there we are. That's interesting. That this is original miner, but this is mine explorers. I really don't think they came in the way we did. So this that we're working through now must tie into something else. At least that's the assumption I'm going to roll with. Got a junction here. Decline keeps going that way. This just faces out if I didn't show that. See the dots there tracking loads. And then an incline running up. There might even be a level there. It looks like it levels out up there. And that's just a little pocket right there. Some cable here. I'm liking this more now. I like the, even though it's just a little sub-level, I like the fact there's no ground fall. It's walkable. Good stuff. Very curious now about what that drops down to. But I'll wait for theirs to catch up, and then I'm not sure if we're going to go up first or down first, but See what the group decides we want to do. Nate ran up there and said that there's another level up there with rail, so we're gonna cruise up there before we head down here. We're all very curious about what's down there though, so that's gonna be the priority. Missed some stuff on the way in, unfortunately. I didn't even bother filming it, but back where we came down, I found a drill bit that didn't have a hole in it, so that's an old one. That drill direction there is interesting. Did you see this?
What?
The direction of the drill?
Oh,
I did not.
didn't see that.
That doesn't fit with the other one being up.
That's kind of weird.
Because this, that raises some questions.
What's the matter?
Over here, as you point out, got the tobacco tin and an eggshell, and that is a rare sight indeed. And we've only seen the eggshells in really old mines, so that's a good sign. That's a good sign. Lots of little tool remains around here. So the handle right there, and then I was standing over here and I noticed there's another piece of drill steel right there, actually. Drill steel right there. That's our rope. And the chisel right there. So we'll let Graham catch up and then we'll shoot up this way. So I'll pick up where the drift level starts up there. Making my way up to the drift level and noticed this little pocket over here had some stuff in it. Has some really, the remains of some pretty old bottles here. And then those possibly like the remains of a tobacco tin. It looks like a miner might have been using this as a canteen. See the cord around it? That's pretty cool. Anyway, I'll pick up top now. Just climbed up from down there. You see my friends climbing up behind me. Got some rail here. And runs into an incline right there, starts climbing again. Looks like might be a frog right there, referring to the rail junction rather than the animal. More drill steel here. This one did have the hole. It's a bit newer. If you remember when we were coming in, there was a section going off to the right, and we went to the left. We're wondering now if this here is the one that went off to the right and ties in. And then there's also one adrift heading back that way. How does that look ahead?
It's like kind of going uphill slightly.
That's got to tie in. What else could that go to?
Yeah. I think it probably is a tie-in.
Well, I think I'm going to dip down here since this is right next to me. I'll pick up down there. Just crawled in from there, and this looks like it might be an ore pass. It drops off fairly sharply down this way. Yeah, that's the guy, but this is. See how it keeps going down there? That hole right there keeps going down there. I'm not sure. I bet that said something on it at one time. I wish I knew what it did say. And then behind me, this keeps running up to what looks like a steeper section of the ore pass. I'll show you. So, oh no, maybe it doesn't keep going actually. 2V. Pretty beefy timbers down here. That just drops down to what I crawled through a minute ago. Okay. And then that looks like that runs up to a stope. And you can see other sections that they drop material down from. So the drift level that was supposed to be up here was ahead, so I'm going to crawl back and catch up with the others that climbed up to the drift level. I just crawled out of there, and then looking ahead, you see it's really low. It's going to be a long crawl up to where it gets steeper there, so I'll put the camera away and crawl up there. I'll pick up at the drift level. I just crawled up from down there, and you can see there's actually track there, so that's unusual to see that. Usually you just see one on some kind of station here. There's a bunch of stuff up here, artifacts all over the place that you notice more and more of as you stop and stare for a minute. There's an old shovel right there in front of us, and then it looks like they were sliding ore down here. There's a passage running up this way where the adits have gone, and I'll go shortly. There's drill steel right there, and that one actually has a hole in the end of it, so that's a bit more recent. And then behind me, you see they had a part of the platform right there for this station, the cable. And behind me, the short drift running off this way. There are a lot of dots in this section, so they must have moved a lot of material through here. I can see the end right there already, but we'll check this out. Oh, there's a penis. Miners do love their graffiti. That says Roma, which is interesting. And I wish I could make out what that says. But that definitely says Roma, which I'm curious about. More dots. Oh, okay, good. I was hoping there'd be some graffiti back here. Unfortunately, yeah, again, that's the end right there. Unfortunately, I can't read this graffiti. I see Joe C something. Unfortunately, I can see 1918 right there. Looks like June 23rd, perhaps, maybe 24th, 1918. So that's cool. It almost looks like marble. Doesn't it look like a marble, almost? It's kind of cool. All right, unfortunately, we broke the rule. We thought this just was a little nothing section, and so left packing even the gloves down below, which was something I think I'm going to regret, especially when I start climbing up this mess that way. So now we'll see what happens. Oh, this is brutal, which you can probably tell by how hard I'm breathing. I don't think the camera, to give you an idea how steep that is, but it's very steep. Fortunately, it levels out a little bit in this section. You see there's a fault wall, a big fault wall on my right, which usually, see the drill patterns here, usually the fault walls will attract miners graffiti, but I don't see any on this occasion. There's some nice looking gobbing there on the right, and I've hit some really dark rock. Oh man. Tired of climbing. Tired of climbing. Super dark rock. All right, put the camera away, keep climbing. Just finished climbing up from down there. See some gobbing here, and opens up into a nice chamber. As you can see, a bunch of chambers right there. And then that section to the right at the very beginning leads to right there. So we at least completed that loop, and we'll go out this way because it's a lot better than the way we came in, to be sure. There are the fellas into this chamber. And then over here, we've got a spool right there, which is kind of cool. There's an ore car there. We'll take a close look at that in a minute. Just wanted to show you. You can see where the cable was biting into the rib here as they're hauling the loads. So that's pretty cool. And I'll get better positioned and show you the rest of what's in here. I was just standing over there, and the others are starting to head down, so I'm going to show you what's over here more easily. Lots of bits and pieces of rail and handles and things like that. There's a roller there. This is a better look at the ore car. Lots of stuff to slip on. There's a little one. A cute little guy. I mean, there's my boot next to the ore car, so gives you an idea of how little it is. And then you see we don't even need the rope to climb out of here. We can just climb up and work our way up out that way, which is great. We've decided that we're actually more intrigued by what's below us, so instead we're going to come out this way anyway. We're going to run out this drift, which doesn't have any airflow, and this drift on the way out. This one has airflow, but I've got a feeling it ties into that stuff I crawled back into a little while back. So I'm not sure that these are even that exciting, but we want to get off the sublevels and get down to some of the main goodness. So we're going to drop back down. And like I said, we'll hit those on the way out unless we're just completely exhausted. But if we're completely exhausted, it'll be for a good reason. So don't worry too much about that. So I'll start dropping down and I'll pick up back on that eggshell drift. The eggshell drift is up that way, and climb down this, which is a bit of a stumble because it's really low. I can see all the loose material, but stumbled our way down this, and we've come to something of a landing here, and
another one.
It's gotten steep enough that
Not crushed one.
we had to get on a hand line and drop down there. So that's why we've got a traffic jam right here. But there's an ore car right in front of us. I'll show you more of that when this clears out. And then I'll show you, obviously, what's down wherever the hand line is going to lead us. There's a better view of what we're dropping down to. Looks like it might level out a little bit, but we're really looking forward to getting to a solid level that doesn't just continuously drop. Here's a little view of the ore car here, the undercarriage, and remains of a wheel right there. It's not too much left. You can see the trucks, but it looks like they were using it as a flat car. They were using it as a flat car, which they must have been.
Falling apart.
Well, I was wondering that, or the top or the back is so low, I don't think a regular ore car would fit. So I bet they were using that as a flat car or a skip car.
Okay, now go. Yeah,
that's my guess. Anyway, we'll pick up down there. I was standing up there. This is the hand line. We followed down, and it drops down here next to the dinosaur egg, which is pretty cool. We've got nice spacious drift running back that way. We've got this incline or decline, depending on your perspective, which continues dropping down this way as far as we can see. But, oh, and of course, it keeps going this way as well. But there's a very significant highlight down here, extraordinarily rare find, which is a wooden ore car. And you do not find these you absolutely not. Sometimes, especially in the Sierras, you'll see the remains of the frame, the metal frame, but you will never find something like this. All the mines I've been into, I found one that was intact. It was a little more intact than this, because this one, there's a wheel right there, but it's missing its other wheels. But this is an extraordinary find. It's really, you just do not find this. I know of another mine up in Montana that had a couple wooden ore cars, but they're just exceptionally rare. You see it had a metal bottom to help protect the wood from all the ore getting slammed into it and rock getting slammed into it. You see how thick, it's long and skinny, but very thick. And you see how they had to drive in all the nails to keep the metal frame together. This really is an amazing find. But we've got a lot to explore. We've got some miners graffiti over here, and there's been some debate about what it says. One suggestion was, please sweep the rails, or please swear. Who knows? Hard to say. That I don't know any idea what that says. And then, like I said, keep going that way. So I'll catch up. Had to show you another look at this wooden ore car. You see the loop in front there, either for pulling it or connecting it to another car. Given the age of this, I wouldn't even be surprised if they had mules down here pulling these. Be pretty cool to find another stable, like the Lost Worlds project, huh? Very cool. All right, little muddy down here. Man, it's nice to be walking. Just like a big slab of calcite right there, and some vent pipe here. They had rail down here. Obviously, you can see the ties. All that creaking and clanking you hear is my rope gear. Some nice gobbing right there. Oh wow, that's a significant amount of gobbing. And there's a little pocket here. But look at this. There's a natural cave right here that is extraordinary. Wow. That's really cool. Look at that incredible buildup of flowstone. Wow. That's probably 60 feet up. Really cool. Wow. This level is getting an A+, 10 out of 10 so far. Man, that's really cool. I wonder what the miners thought when they punched into this. Okay, we keep going. I see they've stopped, so might be something good up there too. Wow. Wooden ore car and a cool cave, and I see a wheelbarrow. Look at that. Look at that wheelbarrow. That is really cool. Imagine how long that's been down here. Wow. That's an old one. That's a really old one. Wow.
Was that cave sweet or what?
That cave was amazing.
That cave was cool. That was awesome.
That cave was amazing. This is a very skinny wheelbarrow. That's maybe 14 inches across right there. And then we've got a junction up here with stuff going off in all different directions. I'm going to climb over this pit and I'll pick up over there. There's that wheelbarrow there, and look what we are climbing under. Glad that wood didn't fail. Looks like they stoped a little bit through here. So, I'm sure you saw big carbide tins in the distance when I was filming from over there. There's a drift going off in that direction. There's a drift going off in that direction. There's some stoped out stuff. Chamber right there. And there's a drift running off in this direction. See the rail going back there. Almost looks like they had some kind of sign or something here. Wish we knew what it said.
Is that giant here? Yeah.
Jeremy went back here a ways and started corkscrewing up and seemed like it'd probably peter out. So we're not going to focus on this one yet. We'll prioritize these others for now. Specifically, whatever's down that way. And then I saw there was a wheelbarrow, excuse me, wheelbarrow here.
There's dynamite right on the other side of it, be careful.
Cool. And indeed, there is dynamite right there.
Wider, deeper.
Is this just a dead end chamber here?
Yeah, it goes up, but like into some stope.
Okay. Well, you guys have seen dead end chambers before, so pretty cool seeing the dynamite and another wheelbarrow.
Yeah. They certainly did.
Okay, and then what we're working on now is this level, or excuse me, this drift, because supposedly Nathan looked up and said there was a rail and like a sublevel up there. But then, in the meantime, I'm going to show you all this stuff. Big jumble of wood and other artifacts. I'm trying to scan it quickly. I don't want to miss anything I want to show you guys, but at the same time, I don't want to bore you. Nice gobbing in here. These guys were professional level gobbers, in my opinion. And they really honeycombed all this stuff through here pretty extensively. Some more gobbing up there. And then that's, you can see the timbers supporting that stope next by the, or by the junction. Directly behind me is an ore chute. So we're on the top of an ore chute. And it's pretty cool. You can see the rail coming out over it. And there's actually a rope right there. I would definitely not trust that rope, because it looks like it's even rotted through on top. I mean, that rope's probably more than a century old. And then there's looking, ooh, that's a little intimidating. There's looking down. I don't see the bottom.
I tossed a rock. I think it either doesn't go very far or it's plugged.
Okay.
Kind of sounded plugged.
Then it looks like they just pushed a little pocket right there and that's it. Interesting. Yeah, hopefully you guys can. Well, it just drops down to blackness. So there you go. This is that gobbing section, and Nate ran out the stope just to make sure we weren't missing anything, and he said everything faced out. So we're waiting for two people now, because Graham went down that one with the sign, the drift with the sign on the right, and then Jeremy went back here, and he's been gone for a while, so we're probably going to go back there. But we'll get the report from both of them, and then we'll decide what to do next. I was just standing back there, back at the junction where the carbide cans are, and Graham ran this one out with the sign and said it just pinches out as we expected and is not worth going back because it just looks like this rubble all the way until it pinches out. And the blue rock that you can see in front of us is the coolest thing back there, he said. So last one we're waiting on is Jeremy, who was running out that level. Well, you can't really see I'm pointing up there. So while we're waiting for the others to get back, Austin cracked open this rock and look at the purdy azurite inside of it. Very nice. And while I was doing that, the others got back. So what's back there, guys?
There's an airline, follow tube, back, down, back down, over, hits a drift level.
So it sounds like we should keep dropping down.
We're definitely gonna start to keep dropping down.
Okay.
So you push that out of the way.
Right.
This one, there's airflow going down. There's half of the north car and another decline that goes down.
Okay. So it's like the same pattern we've been seeing over and over again.
Yep, there's rail.
So it looks like you found a glove too.
Yeah.
Oh, 2 gloves. Wow.
Well, same glove.
Oh, same glove. Okay, gotcha.
Nate was saying this is a deer glove, deer skin.
Wow, look.
Yeah, Nate found it.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
There's another one, but it fell apart on contact.
I wonder how long this has been down here. I'd love to know.
That looks like the one I found on the other sublevel.
That's really cool. All right, so it sounds like the next thing to do is to run out this drift on the other side of the dinosaur egg and the wooden ore car. We just finished exploring that section back at the wooden ore car here, which definitely get some still images of that on the way out. And now we have the dinosaur egg direction to check out, and of course we still have that continuing decline behind us. You can see keeps running, looks pretty nice up ahead. Little pocket right here is filled in with rock, and those little stopes and raises, I mean, they really honeycombed this section of the mountain. But we'll stick with one level at a time. How about that? Okay, everybody stopped up here. We were talking about stopping for lunch, so that's probably what we're doing.
Maybe it's the fucking Tommy next year.
Nice little chamber right here. Keeps going straight. That's nice to see. And just a dead end right here, or? And that's it. So cool. We'll have lunch and we'll keep pushing ahead. More cave action here. That's what this is.
We've been inside for 4.5 hours. Yeah. I thought we haven't done that.
Yeah, no, not really. No.
Wow, they punch into a lot of natural cave sections. That's pretty cool.
Probably, yeah.
Just about to sit down for lunch, and where I'm gonna sit, we've got this teapot that was sitting where I was gonna sit. So that's obviously seen better days, but that is really cool to see that down here. I wonder when the last time a miner had tea or coffee down here from that pot was. That's really cool. Their little lunch chamber right there, and I'm proud they were carrying on a long tradition since the miners obviously had lunches and things like that there as well, given a coffee pot or teapot. Heading down this drift since we haven't been down here yet. Well, the others are finishing lunch. Big carbide can right there. Yeah, make my way over this rubble pile. Pretty spacious back here. Nice echo, all things that we like. You see they pulled up the rails to use them elsewhere. Or maybe even in a, I would say maybe even World War II. We've hit the end. This is the end. We are going to be dropping down to the level below us. Kind of cool stratification in the rock there, huh? That's colorful. All right, well, back to the wooden ore car. Now we're gonna drop down. I'll just pick up down at the bottom of the next level. I've already shown you the wooden ore car twice, so I'll swap out a battery as well, and we'll just, like I said, pick up the next level down. We've been working our way down from there, and we're at a little landing here, and that just looks like a toilet drift back there at dead ends. The reason I turned the camera on though is because somebody went to a great deal of trouble to carve that in. So thank you, LL. That's really cool. It's nice to get very clear dates. And we are continuing down that way. And starting to see some modern trash like glow sticks and things like that. So we're thinking this ties into another mine somewhere down there. A more accessible mine. Just came from that direction. We've gotten to a bottom here, not the bottom, but a bottom. A little pocket there, but look at this dropping down. That gets vertical down there. You can see the airline running down, and then it gets vertical down there. You can see I'm standing on track, and this is kind of cool. Wow, that goes.
That's pretty deep.
Wow, some rocks got knocked down there, and that goes quite a way. Anyway, I was saying, you have track coming out here. You can see the stops in the track. So this is obviously an ore pass. That may even be the top of an ore chute, possibly, down there. Speaking of the tracks, they continue this way. You can see the ore car there. There's just a little trash drift right there where they're tossing scraps of wood and such. Over here, I believe that is the bottom of a carbide lamp. In other words, that's where they would put the carbide, I believe. Although somebody may correct me on that. I think that's what that is. You also see the remains of carbide right there. And let's see, old shovel right there, kind of cool. And like I said, we got the vent pipe right there. The top part was gone, the bucket's gone. My camera glitched on me for a second. I was just saying it was cool seeing the ore car here, the frame of it, even if the bucket's gone. And then just as a reminder, we came from that direction. And then, oh wow, remains of a blower. Right here, that's cool. Ore car wheels, small ore car wheels, but still ore car wheels. And probably came off of the remains of that wooden ore car. Right there where Austin is. Filled in pocket right there. Got an airline right here. They're checking out the airline. What's back this way? Has anybody run this out yet?
Yeah, it goes, there's a T intersection and a big ore chute.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll go film that while they're scouting out where that airline's going. It's actually muddy down here. It might be part of the blower. Although I didn't take a close look at it. Backfilled, little drift right here. Crosscut, tiny little stope right there. Then this is that T junction that Austin referenced. Oh, maybe not. I thought it was. Just to show, maybe it is. Okay, it is. So, don't know if anybody's been down there yet or not. Got some rail here. This just dead ends in front of us. And then there's an ore chute here. And it actually keeps going that way too. Actually, two ore chutes. Plugged. Really plugged. Actually surprised I haven't failed yet, given how rotten those timbers are, but I'm very glad they haven't. I don't think anybody's been, I'm sure nobody's been back there yet, but I don't think anybody's been back there either. I'll ask, but those are definitely an option if other stuff doesn't pan out. I think we have enough rope to drop that deep one where the rocks fell down, but I'm not 100% certain. All right, I'll go back to where the others were. All right, back at that spot where the guys were checking out the section where the airline was running. The airline actually runs up to that stope. This section here just dead-ended, and they said that they looked back in those sections, the T-junction, they faced out. So I accept that. See old Mountain Dew can down here. That's from Mine Explorer, obviously. And then now we're roping up to drop this
Probably.
steep decline here.
know and beware of.
That gives me a lot of peace of mind.
So in Justin's video of Tombstone, this last one we did, I kind of sprouted off for a minute about that.
Really?
Yeah.
Right, we tied off the rail. And Jeremy, as usual, our guinea pig, is getting ready to drop this one, the steep one. They said they tossed a rock down, thought they heard water, which is different than what we experienced, so we don't know what's down here.
Forgot that.
Yeah, that would suck to have that come
Could have
off.
been like this metal twanging too.
Metal twanging is an option.
Twang.
There he goes. If we go down there, that's gonna suck to climb up that one.
Also, yeah, just like constant stuff raining down.
Yep. If that's not coming across on the camera, it's just this constant rain of boulders, not boulders, but little rocks and pebbles and dirt just dribbling down.
I'm not hearing the water.
I'm not hearing the water either. So Jeremy's been down there for, I don't know, a little less than 10 minutes, and he shouted up that it was plugged. There was a lot of stuff he kicked out of the way, moved out of the way, and he was able to get down a decent distance, but he said it was plugged beyond any ability to get beyond it. So that ties up that option, and so we've been trying to figure out how people got in here to deposit the modern trash that we saw, which, I don't know. I don't think we missed anything, but who knows?
I can't imagine it.
Yeah. Maybe something that was open caved. Who knows? But even still, I'm pretty happy with what we saw. Oh, I wanted to show you guys. There's a face right there. If you guys can see that, it's kind of hard to tell. But there is a face there. Anyway, I'm not sure what we're going to do next, but I'll let you know when I resume filming. As we are working our way out toward the eggshell drift, we checked out a tiny little pocket, which obviously didn't go anywhere at all and was just almost pointless to check. And you know how that goes. Sure enough, it did. It ran into this little subdrift here, which we followed, where we set the hand line up to drop down to this sublevel. You can see gobbing here and old can. And let's see, there's some graffiti there. Looks like JA. I think this is 9/40. There's an arrow here, really faint, pointing out the way we came. Over here, we can see 1923.
Keep going.
And then you can see up here what's going on. We've got another drop. I'll talk more about that in a second. 1924. So yeah, we've set up the meat anchors, and there is another drop down. This one's not quite as bad so far as the last one that was plugged.
No, but I don't think I'm gonna hit bottom.
So I'll show you how that looks in a second. But yeah, we're dropping down there. We did the rock test. Oh, thank you. Oh, thanks guys. We are dropping down there. Did the rock test, and it sounds like it went a long way. So we're not sure if we'll be able to hit the bottom of this one or not, but we're at least get eyes on that vertical drop right there. Almost as soon as you go around the bend right there, Jeremy shouted up he's on a drift level. So the rock test made it sound like it went a long way, but maybe there's something that keeps going past that drift level he's on. But either way, we may be going down there at least to see that drift level, because it's right there. If so, I'll just pick up down there rather than tell you what I'm going to do. Which hopefully we do go down there, because it'd be nice to get a nice long drift level without having to constantly climb up or down. There's Jeremy coming back up, and it turns out that the drift level he hit is another mine. And it's a mine that is visited pretty often. It's a mine we know, and not really much point in doing that one since we already know that one. So, yes, it does connect. This is one mine connecting to another, but no reason to do this one. So we're actually going to head back and check out some of that stuff that we bypassed when we were coming in from the top of this mine. All right, we climbed all the way back up to this chamber, where this is that chamber where if we'd gone off to the right, we would have come in up there. It was a long climb getting back up here. And then just to reorient you, we have been climbing up from that direction. So these guys, remember we had the two drifts here. These guys ran this one out, and they said it didn't go back very far and just dead ended. But they did say that the one back here was worth going down. So as much as I'm not excited about going down that right now, I'm gonna go down that right now. We've been crawling down from that direction, which is pretty rough going, honestly. There's some kind of classifier here, and then looks like it might open up a little bit up ahead, so I turn the camera back on for that.
See, 1915.
Little pocket right there. And Austin just found DC or BC? BC.
I saw that back down there too.
I remember BC now that you mentioned it. Yeah, BC 1915. Oh, it's nice and spacious here.
Yeah, right. Welcome, James.
Seriously. We've done more crawling on our hands and knees in this mine than any other mine I can think of, honestly. All right, it keeps going ahead. Got some kind of ugly ground.
Going up.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Got some slab action here. This looks like this runs down
Where
to
we gotta go.
those stopes that we were poking around in a little while ago. It's got that look. I think these all interconnect. Yeah, this is all slabbed out, but absolutely has that look. I'm sure that's what this is. All right, and then the good times didn't last long because we've got bad ground. Oh, it's not going this way. I guess we have to go the other way. Huh, all right. They said there was bad ground, so they weren't lying. I guess we're dropping down. So, here we go. Down we go. I gotta put the camera away for this, but I'll pick up somewhere down there. I know it's hard to tell, but we corkscrewed down next to that gobbing back from that way. And man, I'm impressed with that gobbing all over again. It is a good looking gobbing.
That's crazy.
But that's not why I turned the camera on. I turned the camera on for this pump right here, which is pretty cool. This is not something I've seen before. And we're going back and forth on whether it's a hand pump or not. It certainly looks like a hand pump. It looks like there'd be a handle in the top of that and you would pump it up and down, but it seems like a lot of work. But who knows? Either way, it's pretty cool to see that. It's also pretty cool to see the hose still down in the water there, which obviously came off of that section there. That fits if you can't tell. Water runs off that direction and then just, I guess it just pinches out there, doesn't it?
Kind of looks like it.
Yeah, pinches out there. There's some writing on the side, but I can't make it out. And then there probably was some writing here, but that's also not possible to make out. But either way, this is a cool find. And it was not easy getting down here, but I'm glad we did. And then the flooded section continues back there as well. Okay, that pump is just on the other side of the water there. We trudged through the water because we were curious about where this went, obviously. and come into this gallery of gobbing, which is good looking stuff. I gotta say, the gobbing in this mine is noteworthy. And man, I really didn't feel like doing any more climbing back up, but here we are. Looks like it levels out. But then I'm gonna have to crawl again. But yeah, I'll go down there and pick up somewhere down there. I can't tell what the situation is, but either way, I have to crawl to get down there. So I'll be down there somewhere. I just worked my way down from there, and Austin went a little bit ahead of me, and you can see where he is, I hope. See his light down there? That's the Roma level. So that's what this ties into. So I'm gonna head back up and we'll pick up in the junction room. But I'm glad we solved this mystery and ran this out. All right, full circle once again, back in this room where we would have ended up there if we'd gone to the right. So we're gonna climb up here. I think it's just going to be a slog uphill. If there's anything interesting, I'll stop and shoot it. But if not, I'll just meet you back where we started and show you how it all connects together. I've been climbing up from down there. And of course it's steep. Of course you've got to crawl most of the way. So it's mine. It's been a serious workout. But it's been a fun one. There are the remains of Wheelbarrow right there. It's kind of funny because everything but the frame has rusted away. The bucket part is just barely there. So kind of cool. It just drops into a stope behind it right there. And then that junction where we went left is right there. See that gobbing? I'll go up there and prove it to you. So that's where we dropped down originally, and we went left down that way. So we've completed the circle, run out everything we could in this mine, and are happy to call it done. That took us 8 hours to do. I'm not sure how long this video is going to be, but we've been down here 8 hours.